Well, he's a cutie pie. I might put him in Potomac. Okay, yes. Yeah, he can come right on to Potomac.
All right, what's up, Side Squad? As you guys can see, I have a very, very special guest in the building with us today. It is the Grand Dame of Potomac and all things fabulous. It is Mrs. Karen Huger. Thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely, Richie. I've been waiting to do this. Yes, I'm excited now. So yes, let's get to it. How are you? You good?
I've been good. You know, I'm back in the DMV, so I'm extremely happy.
I'm excited about that. I'm excited for you.
Thank you. I got to start this whole thing off by asking, how is Ray?
How is Ray? Ray is good. You know, we shared with the viewers that our marriage went through some trials. And, you know, a lot of people often ask me, Karen, how was that hard for you, sharing the reality of, you know, your institution going through? And it wasn't hard, because what I had signed up for was called reality TV. And I have had so many fans reach out and thank me for being, you know, authentic and transparent with what can happen to couples even after 24 years of marriage. But you got to get in there and work it out. And Ray and I, we dug in and we worked it out, and we're still working on it. Let's be real. Okay. Yeah. All right. Just because the cameras roll up don't mean we finished working, but we did it.
And we don't really think about that. We often think about what we see on the screen and not necessarily your life goes on after the camera stops rolling.
It does. And that's another layer, you know, and that's a whole, 4 to 6 months you guys don't see us.
Yeah.
So Ray and I continue to communicate. We continue to work on our love language. We continue to remind ourselves what's really important when it comes to the end of it. It's he and I, you know, what we're feeling for each other, what we're willing to do for this commitment we made to each other almost 25 years ago now.
So I gotta ask, is it difficult for him to be so transparent on the show?
You know, Richie, I want to tell you yes, but no, he shocked me with his transparency. I was like, you know, that was not scripted. Everything Ray did was from the heart, and it was extremely authentic. It was extremely painful for me to hear some of it, but it wasn't hard for him. I almost think it was therapeutic. He almost needed that. And so this is one instance where reality TV helped our marriage, because it helped the communication, the conversation get started and continue, you know, our process of working on it.
I just have to say thank you guys for doing that, because I think specifically as a Black man, to see someone who is a bit older and wiser be so willing to be transparent and go through therapy and have those difficult conversations on television is motivating for a lot of men. So
specifically to Black men, I can speak to my Black man who really, you know, Ray is one of the most brilliant people I know. I'll be honest with you. And to get him to a life coach, call it what you have to, ladies, do whatever you have to do to get your beautiful Black man into that third neutral person conversation. It was challenging. And so I had to repackage it. If you look at it, Richie, I called it life coach, but she bought it, didn't she? She kept it to the fire. So whatever we have to do as the wives to help our men get through understanding that it's okay, honey, to have a life coach, a therapist, whatever it is, as long as we hold on to what we have, you know?
Yeah, I think the audience really appreciates you being so candid about that, but also your stance as it relates to the rest of the ladies. I gotta tell you, I kind of noticed that this season, I felt like you have taken a neutral, almost a narrator's perspective this season, kind of saying things that the audience may be thinking. But I want to take it back to a moment from last night's episode. You had to have a difficult conversation with Monique about, you know, you telling Candiace that if it were you, what you would have done. How did you approach that conversation?
There was only one way to approach it, with honesty and emotion. And you guys know that you don't get to see everything. There was so much more said between my sister Monique and I. But at the end of the day, I am so grateful that I approached it that way, because I was hedging my bet on the real friendship that exists between Monique and I. I certainly did not tell Monique what she wanted to hear. Right. Of course, every friend wants you to side with them, but again, she respected the position that two wrongs don't make a right. And that has taken our friendship to a whole nother level, because she's candidly said to me, look, I may not agree with you, but I respect you. And at the end of the day, two women, especially two beautifully intelligent, strong Black women, decided to respect each other's opinions, even though we didn't agree.
Right.
So
I got to ask you, because you mentioned holding her accountable. You know,
absolutely.
The ladies will keep saying to you on the show that they want you to hold Monique accountable. The camera will flash back to you holding her accountable and her accepting and receiving what you're saying. What more did they want from you? Because I think we as viewers don't understand what they wanted.
I believe your eyes. You do understand. Okay? Believe your eyes. And I'm not a malleable person, especially when it comes to my position on right and wrong. I knew exactly what I believe. They wanted me to ice Monique out. I think they wanted me to get on the bandwagon, which I'm not a bandwagon rider. I never have been for 5 years. I would have disappointed myself more so than it disappointed the fans. But I didn't do any of that for any other reason than I saw what I saw. It saddened me. And to see my two friends fighting, one was physical. Everyone knows I have been through abuse. I do not believe in putting hands on anybody. I held Monique accountable. I said that in front of the girls. I don't have to do anything else. I've said my piece. This fight is not about me, and it's not about my position, although the girls made it about my position because they felt that I needed to choose one or the other. I am so grateful. I was raised to believe, to stand firm in the right and the wrong. And also we have to look at the other side. My friend, and I hope to be able to call her friend one day. Again, I don't know where we stand right now, but I'm okay with that too. Candiace has a beautiful vocabulary, but it's powerful. And how we will our words, we have to be careful. We don't know what triggers we're pushing when we speak to others. It's a powerful thing Candiace has. So again, not blaming anything on Candiace and not detracting from what went down physically with Monique, but I know I made the right choice, and that's I stand by it. So it's about respecting me as a friend. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a lot of people respect that is your position, and you have not wavered from that even a year later. No,
I'm still there, and I feel glad about it. Here's my question to you, Richie. Why and what good did all the other women ganging up and icing Monique out do to help our friends, Candiace or Monique, get better or get to a better place? Absolutely nothing. It was self-serving purposes, and this was not the place for it, and that is what the reunion is about. Our friends need their help. Them choosing one above the other did not help the sisterhood. Bottom line. Mm-hmm.
I absolutely agree with you on that. I have a question about something else in the episode last night. Ashley having to write, well, not really having to, her choosing to support Monique in that way and writing that letter. You know, what were your thoughts about that?
I understand. I have two views on it. One, Monique and Ashley had a genuine friendship. And Monique soldiered up for Ashley when she was going through with the allegations about Michael last year. And that's a return serve, a good friend return serve. But then I also understand the side that Ashley is human. And a butter knife was waved in her face last year. Timing is off, Ashley, but I understand. I understand. I can understand that human side too. I'm like, okay, so that's what the couch is for too. I really want to know too. Curious minds want to know. But if it is that she's a little human, and it is that she did it for the right reasons, it's okay. Whatever reason it was, it's understandable. So that's what I'm thinking about Ashley last night. But I want to know too, Richie.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll get that question answered.
We will.
I want to talk about you and Wendy a little bit.
Oh, Jesus, go ahead.
The first thing I want to ask you is, did you really switch seats so that you could sit beside her on the flight?
Now, if you guys haven't learned anything about me this season, is that I have a very humorous side, okay? I did not know Wendy was going to sit beside me, so I'll give you that one. But I was like, yes! And, I often look for those opportunities to sit with Wendy and to get to know Wendy better without outside influences. You know what I mean? I still think Wendy and I have a lot to learn about each other. What's your next question about Wendy?
Well, I'm gonna ask the question, and then I'm gonna give you both a compliment after I do so. So I want you to just keep that in mind.
I'll follow your lead.
What do you think is the real issue between you and Wendy?
No, Richie, I don't think anything. I know what it is. And it is an ethical issue. Has nothing to do with academic accolades. And unfortunately, we touched on it, but it wasn't TV worthy in comparison to the fight and other things that went down. So Wendy has been saying in her interviews, Karen tried to have me go to dinner. That's very true. I reached out to Wendy and she said, I couldn't go because the cameras weren't there. I wanted to be authentic. Oh, go back and read, Richie, read, baby. And so I'm like, wait a minute, you want this on camera, which would not be good for her, quite possibly. But I reached out because I'm like, okay, there's so much going on. We're not going to be able to move forward if we don't address this. And I don't need a camera to be authentic. I am good with or without a camera. But she has said in some of her interviews, she turned me down because the cameras weren't there. And she wanted to be authentic and accountable. Honey, be accountable to thyself. This is reality TV, and we're trying to grow our friendship. So hopefully I haven't said a lot. You don't know what it is, but it is ethical and has nothing to do with her academic accolades. What a beautiful accomplishment. I come from a very well-educated family. My husband has 4 degrees. I just didn't say that. You just got that. And he also is a PhD. Let us get that straight. I love academia. And I need to rein myself in because a lot of this is for the couch. But I did want to give you a little bit of background. Next one.
I appreciate that. And I was going to tell you that I honestly, from what we can see, there's a lot of humor that goes into you and Wendy's back and forth, which in my mind leads me to think that this is more fun than anything else. But I could be wrong.
It is fun for me. It has been therapeutically fun for me. We had so much heaviness going on this season. There was no other way to bring me to the viewers without showing them my comedic side. I have a sense of humor that, and it's on time, and my timing is witty, and I think it's what the girls needed. And I'm about this sisterhood called RHOP. So when you see the women slithering out of the room, that took work and timing, okay? And and that's what we need more of. And is there hope for Wendy and I? Absolutely. Absolutely. We just got to get through this moment, okay?
And I was going to say, I feel like whatever the issue is not that deep.
It is. It's not, but it was ethical. And
Gotcha.
So I do have a moral compass about things in and off this TV screen.
Gotcha.
And we will discuss it, whether it's at the reunion or God willing, season 6. We will have to have that conversation. And I don't think that it needed to be on TV, personally. I don't think it's going to look good for Wendy. Wow. That's why I offered it off of TV. Listen, I am the matriarch of this show. Okay, I am the wise one. I just don't think it needed to be bought out. It's something that we should have settled off off script. And we could have talked about it later, but it's not a good look. And is it a major thing? Most people would say no. But when you put it into the context of what it's about, you'll get what I'm talking about.
Okay. You just really made us want to get to the reunion faster.
Well, you ain't the only one. I want to turn the page and, see us have some fun. See all of us have some fun.
I just have to comment on you and the slithering. I think that was probably the most iconic moment of the season.
Thank you. I could not have written the script when Wendy slithered down those steps. I am very comedic. I'm like, are you kidding me? And it just stuck in my mind. And so, I had to share it. It was good.
Herself in that moment. She had to laugh.
She had to. She has a great sense of humor, I think. I'll get to know her.
I want to kind of switch topics real quick and just ask you, I know that you got the opportunity to celebrate in Cynthia and Mike's big day from, Cynthia from Real Housewives of Atlanta, for those who don't know.
Yes.
Can you just give us a little bit about what that experience was like?
Everything. Watching Cynthia walk down that aisle, it was a beautiful wedding. But let me roll back. The level of commitment she took for our safety. We were pre-screened before the wedding. We had shills, we had masks, we had both. And I thank you for this question, because what was so disheartening to me was when Gizelle took to watch what happens live and said she felt unsafe. I just talked to my good friend Cynthia Bailey no more than 4 days ago, and all of the reports were almost 4 weeks out. Not one person from her wedding test positive with COVID. Okay, so I just felt like, thank God, that's a blessing. That's a commitment to what Mike and Cynthia, the effort they put forward, and they told people, please don't come. You don't have to come. So here's my thing. The people that showed up, we truly love these people. We truly love this couple. I do question Gizelle's motives now. Why was she there? And so I went a little further with Cynthia Bailey. And I said, so Cynthia was, of course, not happy about the comments Gizelle had made. But she shared something with me that I find striking, because when Gizelle was on Watch What Happens Live, Andy Cohen asked her, so what did you, she said, I left because I didn't feel safe. And Andy says, oh, you're going back to the hotel. And she says, yeah, I had to go back to my hotel. And he said, oh, to be with Jamal. And she said, allegedly. And Andy goes something like, oh my God, why would it have to be alleged? Y'all are grown. And she said, okay, Andy, okay, I'm going back to the hotel with Jamal. Well, that was a lie. Because to be honest, Cynthia Bailey received a phone call from Gizelle 3 days prior to the wedding and shared with her that Jamal was not going to be in attendance. That is why Gizelle was stag. Okay. So Jamal was actually here in Baltimore. So Gizelle lied to Andy Cohen about Jamal being in the hotel room waiting for her. So I don't know who was in that hotel room waiting for her, but the lies were really. And that is from the bride's mouth. And I thank you very much.
Oh my.
Also, Richie, if you need receipts, everyone's saying, Karen, you give receipts. And it's not that I want to, but there are receipts. Jamal takes a picture of himself at the hookah bar. I call it the Hoodia bar. Who do you think I'm going to catch next? I don't know. But I'm like, okay, this lie just blew up. And Richie, I have been sitting on this for a minute, because I just hate when people lie on good people to further their whatever agenda. This was an unnecessary lie. Cynthia Bailey's wedding was above and beyond one of the safest places you could have been during this pandemic. And I needed to say that, because not to knock Gizelle. Gizelle says Gizelle lies herself. It's just that we all catch her now.
Well, first off, I want to say thank you for sharing that, because, you're the third person that was there that has said literally the same thing. So and that's been on camera when I'm there as well. So it's like, to me, I'm glad to hear that it really was as beautiful as we saw online. And I'm thankful that you were able to share that.
Absolutely. You are so welcome. And, you know, I don't understand Gizelle's motives, but it's ugly and it needs to stop.
And so that leads me to my next question, which is about Gizelle.
Okay.
Why do you think she's not as open as, and I asked this because, you know, Robyn co-signed it. You know, it seemed as though Candiace kind of co-signed it. Why do you think she's not open about her relationship with Jamal?
You know what? I was on Watch What Happens Live last night, and I explained then a little bit, or at least I tried to, so thank you for asking the question. First of all, me bringing up a question about Jamal at the table should not have put her into a tailspin of aggressiveness and defensiveness. But if we go back, when I taped that was a year ago. And now all of the alleged allegations a year later are coming out about their fake relationship, that this was done for the show, allegedly. But Richie, I didn't have a crystal ball. I could not have written the script. I did those questions in Portugal over a year ago, almost a year ago. And now all of the truth about her relationship with this person is coming to question, as far as the many allegations about the new baby being born while they're dating, allegedly. Something is not adding up, and it makes sense to me. And you know what? I'm not going to judge her, but that's what the couch is for. And I think that defensiveness in Portugal was because she knew it, quite possibly, allegedly, was the storyline she's presenting is not true. Of their relationship. And all you have to do is walk in your truth. I'm not out here trying to discover anything. I am blown away that a year later, what I asked supports what's going on out there in the media world. So that's the answer. I hope I answered you.
Oh, and yes, you did.
Sad. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope we're all wrong.
Time will tell.
Yes, it will.
You know, I have to ask, you know, Robyn co-signing that, and I just want to touch on this briefly before my next question. What was your thought on that?
I'm so proud of her. You know I give this, and I say this with the most humility. I know I give great TV, okay? And I know those of us who struggle to give great TV. And I know when to like step back and let somebody have the camera. I was like, go ahead, Robyn, this is your time to shine. So I was like, yes. And I was very proud of her, because that's the Robyn I know. We need to see more of that Robyn. That Robyn exists, by the way.
I have been saying that all along. I said, I just want to see Robyn come into the scene and sort of be her own entity. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, me neither. I'm not trying to. Robyn is a very intelligent, beautiful woman. And that was her moment. And I've seen many of those moments with Robyn. And we don't always agree about everything. We have our little cat fights, but she's very fair. She's very fair, and she's very smart. So that was her moment to shine. I was happy to have started the conversation. Girl, bring it on home. Bring it on home.
Obviously, at this point in the season, we can kind of tell that the reunion is about to, you know, either be filmed or it's coming up. And Andy has sort of tweeted out to ask questions from, you know, what we would want to ask the cast.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to clearing up the most at the reunion? And who do you think has the most to answer for at the reunion?
Clearing up. I can only be held accountable for myself. So I've been as clear and as transparent as I can. I hope that everybody owns their stuff, because I want to move on and have some fun with these ladies. We are a great group of women. We have a lot of story to give you guys. I just hope that everyone comes prepared to own their truth. Not agree with everybody's opinion, but own their truth and move on and heal. There's a lot of healing I'm hoping comes out of this reunion.
Okay. I would be remiss if I did not ask about LaDom.
Yoo-hoo.
What's going on business-wise? And I know you have the wigs. Can you tell us anything about any of the projects that you're currently working on?
LaDom is continuing to grow in this pandemic, and I thank God for that. I am now, I started popping up. I keep it real. I thought about this when I started marketing LaDom. I'm like, I'm going to throw all that fragrance in the bag. I'm going to drive around the country like they used to do for Motel. And I'm going to stop off at that store and I'm going to make them see I got a great product. And that turned into pop-ups with Bloomingdale's. I am happy to say now I am retailable on Bloomingdales.com. You can purchase me. I am a permanent fixture.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm on HSN, and as you mentioned, I am expanding the brand. LaDom Wigs, I did a collaboration with RPG Show. That's about to hit in a major way, and I'm continuing to grow the brand. So I'm extremely proud of LaDom and where it's headed. Thank you for asking.
No problem. I just have to say before we go, you have made this season. I would wager to say that most people would consider you the MVP of the season. And can I just say this, and I don't want you to take it the wrong way, you didn't have to do a lot of work to do it. God is good. It almost feels like you just showed up. And
yeah. It was work. You know what? Let me let you finish your question.
Well, no, it was just that I wanted to state it from the perspective of a viewer and what I see sort of in the Bravo-holic community. It's an overwhelming feeling that you just kind of gave us everything that we needed this season so far.
If anybody ever thinks about being a reality star, don't take 5 years to show who you are completely. It took 5 years. It was work, because once they got me in the box of etiquette queen, people were like, I don't know why I like her, but she's too proper. And the thing is, give all of it, give it all. And they may cut it and edit that away from you, but if you stay on this platform long enough, your true self will come out. And that's all I ever wanted. And so all you guys are getting is the girl that grew up in Surrey County that terrorized her family. And it is fun, and it is, and it's ambitious, and it's loving, and it's good. And I'm honored that I got to this point on reality TV. That's huge. And I know that's God's hand handling that. Because you just don't rewrite yourself completely.
No, you don't. And I would say, please don't ever change.
Honey, at this point in life now, we're not going to be quoting ages, but are you kidding me? I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare. I mean, I remember, I can say this, when production came here last season, they're like, I said, I'm at a point where I'm okay. I'm just going to give you me. Y'all do with that what y'all want. They're like, what does that mean? I said, I'm good. I walked into it, but you have to look at the loss I suffered too. So when you lose two parents within 7 months of each other, and then you try and do business and your marriage goes rocky, all you got is you. You better be real. So I just was like, I'm going to be real. I was real the whole time, but I'm going to give you all of me. I hope you guys like it. And I'm glad that it took this year to do it. This was the right time, because we needed this season.
We did. And hopefully at some point in the future, you'll come back and chat with us some more.
Oh, I will. Thank you.
Perfect. We'll talk more about your business and your ever expanding brand. And I just want to say thank you so much for being you. And thank you for taking some time out to speak with us today.
Well, thank you for having me. Mwah.